Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we're looking at a couple of things, or a few things that aren't the kind of things I normally review. Now, if you are interested in the kind of things I normally review, I have tons and tons of playlists. I've got over 3,000 videos. You guys can check out probably any number of things you haven't seen yet on the channel. Plenty of good stuff for you to check out. So go ahead and look at the playlist if you want to see anything that is like action figure related or anything like I normally do. This situation is kind of strange. I do have a somewhat of a relationship with the DC Collectibles guys. They send me stuff occasionally, and this is a surprise thing they sent. A batch of these little statue things, which is totally not the kind of thing I typically review. So this is going to be kind of odd, but if you're into this sort of thing, this might be helpful to you because I definitely have a few things to say about these products. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. You can see the packaging already behind them. Just your standard basic white box with some artwork from, or images of the figures. So what these are, it's part of their DC Artist Alley line of small vinyl statues. These are featuring the artwork of Murase. I don't know where the name is from, so I don't know how to pronounce it for sure. But either way, it's a very stylized look, so that's a subjective thing. If you like it, cool. If you don't, then you're not going to be interested in these products. But that's good enough for now. Let's look at the actual figures. We don't need the boxes on the table for that. We have three different ones. We have Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. They do have a Batwoman or Batgirl, I can't remember which one. I think it's Batwoman coming out as well. They all come with their own little artwork. This is the kind of artwork, I guess, that these are based on. So the artwork's fine. It's, like I said, very stylized. So if you like that, cool. These are bent. They came that way in the package, or curled, so that's not very good. So these things stand roughly about 7 inches tall, which makes them about, let's say, 17.5 centimeters, give or take. Just a quick estimation there. And they're vinyl. They're very low quality statues. They cost about $40 though, which is, as far as I'm concerned, vastly more than they're worth. I don't know what's going on. The packages they sent me were already opened. The tape was cut, so I don't know if they were checking for the Chase variant or what, but you'd think that they would have checked for QC issues at least, and I guess they didn't do that. So we're just gonna look at each one independently, and I'll tell you guys the goods and the bads about each one, even though I don't know about statues in terms of what the statue collectors like. I can still comment on the quality and all that kind of stuff. So this one is in translucent purple plastic with glitter in it, and I mean, that's a very stylized thing. Of course, it looks cool for what it is. If you like that, that's completely dependent on your own personal tastes. What I can tell you is the white paintwork, these little lines that kind of give it that stylized, accented look, they look pretty good. They did a decent job there. The paint job on the face, it's clean enough. It's all right. Nothing to write home about, but it doesn't need to be because it's very basic. And that's it. There is really nothing else to this, which is why I say they're grossly overpriced. It's crazy that they want 40 bucks for this, and maybe people are willing to buy it. I don't know if this is a successful line or not, but I can't imagine anybody deeming this worth $40, except for the people getting paid. Another thing to mention, if you look at her whip, it's like terribly sculpted or messed up from the molding process or packaging, although the packaging doesn't indicate that it would cause this. It's all wobbly and wrinkly. Look at this. Like, it looks completely different on the artwork. Like, they didn't even try to get it right. This should be like stretched back here. I mean, it's just not even close. This is all just wrapped up real tight and not good looking, and it should be sticking out. This looks completely flaccid and just sad. Like, it's not indicative of the artwork. So I'd be a little bummed out if I was the artist that this was based on, because the figure itself indicates that the artwork is lousy, and it's not, and this just doesn't look good. It doesn't represent it, and it has a cheap plastic base. It says AP01. I guess these are artist proofs, so maybe the QC could go up. I didn't realize they were APs. Are they all APs? Yeah, that's 2, and that's 6. So they're really early batches, so I can't imagine. I mean, maybe it'll change, but there's no way to say for sure. So there's Catwoman. If you like it, you like it, but quality is subpar. For Poison Ivy, it's an entirely different situation. It's all opaque plastic. We don't have a cheap plastic base on this one. It's all vinyl. It's sculpted well enough, just like the Catwoman, except for the whip, so that's okay. However, because of all these different pieces and parts, there's a lot of seam work going on, and in some places it's okay. Like if you look at her hip area, that's something you can live with because it indicates like her swimsuit type outfit, whatever you would call that. So that's fine. But then you just have a big straight cut going across the bottom, which there's not a lot they could have done there. I'll give them that. But they could have at least made it like kind of like flow with the curves at least a little bit to kind of incorporate the cut rather than make it just a big straight cut. So that's kind of a bummer. And then you'll see a couple other ones like at her elbow and at her bicep. It's just it's not the most appealing thing. You see some mold lines, but that's gonna happen, so that's okay. This one is of course opaque plastic with kind of like a pearlescent paint job on it, so it's an entirely different style than the other ones. So for my sensibilities, I like things to match and to go together as a set. These are all entirely unique, which I guess in and of itself is kind of making it a set, but I don't know, if you like the way it looks, you like the way it looks. The pearlescent paint job is well, or I guess you could call it iridescent. It's not really pearlescent, is it? It's more iridescent, but it's well executed. I mean, it looks good. Every part of it catches the light differently and looks different, so this is probably the best done one out of all of them. However, it's all just one solid thing, so where they're getting the $40 price point, I don't know. Again, that's purely subjective. If you're fine paying $40, not purely, I guess. If you're fine paying $40 though, then fine, go for it. That's not for me to tell you, but from a manufacturing standpoint, I can't see where the $40 is coming from. Unless these are really incredibly low runs. But even then just make more, or make something more people want to buy. I don't know. That's where it gets kind of iffy between objective and subjective. But if you like it, go for it. If you don't, now you know a little more about it. And then lastly, we have the Harley Quinn, which has the most paint out of all of them. It's all very matte, borderline chalky flat, which I guess is okay for the skin tones. The black's okay. Again, we have a lot of line work, or seam work. It's not noticeable right here because of the color variation, but across the black it doesn't look great. We have another big seam across the torso, and it's just kind of lumpy and not great looking. Hopefully you can kind of see that. And then the paint job on the shoulder, hopefully I can get this to show up. It's very dark, so it's very hard to shoot this because it's white and black with no shading on either of them, so I'm kind of trying to balance between the dark and the light. But you can kind of see, hopefully, it looks like while it was getting painted, somebody spit on it or something and it just screwed the paint up, so there's a huge paint blemish right there, so that's not cool. But the line work is clean enough. And then we have, for the arms, we have shading down to red. Same thing for the boot down here, so that looks good enough. It's all right. This shading on the hair though is gross. It's nasty. I don't know what they were going for here on this red part, but it looks awful. I guess it's supposed to be a stripe in the hair, but it's nasty looking because it has that black bit on there, and it's just, ugh, it's not clean looking at all. The face is clean enough, the other details are clean enough, but it's just, I can't find this appealing at all. Not based on the artwork, but based on the way it's built and the way it's executed. And then the hammer is a separate piece. Let me zoom out so you can actually see it. It's fine. I mean, the detail work on it is clean enough, but I think for a $40 item, it should be cleaner than that. The shading's good. I guess they did a good job with that. But every one of the diamonds has white because they're embossed. They're still white on them. Like, they didn't paint the black and red all the way to the edges of the embossed part. So there's just not a whole lot to find redeeming about these unless you're just super into the artwork, which is fine. Objectively, the quality is nowhere near what I would expect for a $40 7-inch vinyl statue. I mean, you can get a fully articulated figure for 25 bucks at 7 inches, and that's fully painted, fully articulated with accessories. This costs nothing compared to that to produce. Again, of course, production runs, and there are other variables that make the price change, but this is, I can't figure out a way that these are worth the price. So I don't recommend these at all. And again, that is not to suggest anything about the actual artwork they're based on. That's a purely subjective thing. If someone likes it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not even going to comment on it because it doesn't really matter. But the product that they have made based on the artwork, I just find terribly underwhelming. So you guys can let me know what you think about that, I guess. If you like it, if you don't like it. Not the artwork, the actual product. The artwork's, again, it's irrelevant. So that's unfortunate for the artist, I think, and probably for DC, because I can't imagine these are going to sell terribly well. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to give me a little bit of help, give the video a thumbs up. It really does make a big difference if you enjoyed the video at all, or if you appreciate the commentary, whatever it is that you might find redeeming. Give me a video, give me a thumbs up, give me a video. There we go. give me a thumbs up for that. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to do so. I have, like I said, thousands of videos, lots of content, new videos up every day as often as I can possibly do it. I did it for like 3 years or 4 years straight, and right now I seem to not have enough stuff to be making content for every day, which is unfortunate, but I do try to do that. So there's always something for you guys to watch. So make sure you check out all of my good stuff for you. And in the meantime, keep collecting.